Namaste. We are covering a new topic. There is a royal secret of Eastern wisdom. It is so simple, it is an open secret, and yet it is a secret. What is that secret? Happiness is me, peace is me, love is me. Me means I am. It is the same example that I'm repeating, and you may recall the sweetness of a sugar. You put it into the water, still remains sweet. You even put it into the salt, it remains sweet. It doesn't change its flavor, its taste. You get a mixture that is different, but the sweetness never disappears. You put it in with the lemon, you put it into the ice cream, anywhere. The shape changes every time. Desert is a sweet, lemon water has a sweetness. That is the royal secret. But how to know it? That I am the peace and happiness. That is why we have the Eastern wisdom. All these great masters, all these great masters have understood this, realized this. They've worked on it for years and years and years in a forest in the Himalayas with intelligent, with the wise people. And they came out with the entire journey. That is the journey of the Eastern wisdom. So please don't forget to read that book. The seventh point you already have. It is good to read from the start and come to the seventh point and then compare with the talks that I gave to you. So, and you start thinking. So, when you start thinking, you get the maximum out of it. At the same time, keep doing the practice. Do not leave the practice. So we have come to a point that it is a royal. What is the royal secret? That peace is my essential nature. It means I am the peace. It is not that I should enter into peace and happiness. I am the peace and I am the happiness. Oh, this is what the Eastern wisdom is? Yes, that is what the Eastern wisdom is. So what is the first step? I should be curious. I want to know. My mind should drop the idea and understanding that, oh, there is a pleasure and pain and situation and life and people are, the life will continue with with all these challenges. What should I do? No, I should be curious to end the suffering once and for all by listening and learning, by achieving the knowledge of the real self. Curiosity first, listening and learning along with it. Then what you learn and listen. What is the second step? We should learn what exactly is truth or real. Second step, what is real, what is false, and what is unreal. Unreal do not exist. Real always exists. And false in between. We are going to talk about it. The third step is how to separate the real from the unreal, real from the false. Mirage water is false. I have two horns, it is false. No, it is not false, but it is unreal, untruth. But how to separate these two, these three, by the power of discernment and dispassion, with the six treasures of the mind that I have discussed, if you recall it. Next step is then how to apply the conventional methods in my personal, professional, social, family lives to reject the suffering and to accept what is. What is peace, happiness? Someone knocks at the door, you are familiar with that guy, and the mind creates the reaction. You leave the reaction as it is. What is left in you? Peace and happiness. I'm just summarizing, and then we will talk in detail. Next step is that what happens because of the previous steps? The mind is changed. Now the mind has an intense desire to reveal this royal secret. And when you have an intense desire, then you keep on listening and learning from a teacher. You contemplate and reflect. You reach to that state. What is that state? That is the next step. I'm the real self. So what happens then? The next step, end of suffering. No, but you tell me that, mind asks the question. The next step, or you can say the final step is realize it. But what is that realization looks like? Have you ever thought of it? So why the master said that it is the royal secret? Realization does not mean I will see the real self. Realization does not mean I will become the real self. Then what the realization means? Realization means I know I am the real self. Did you understand this? That is why it's a royal secret. And it is also an open secret. Why it is a secret? Because I'm living in ignorance. I do not see. I do not know that I'm the real self. To know I am the real self, that is why we are having all these steps. That is why we are doing the practice also. And did you get it? My friends say yes. So if you get it, then I'll ask you a simple question. How do you find the journey? What changes has taken place until now? I should accept and recognize the changes that have taken place. If we forget the changes that have taken place by undertaking this kind of a journey, forgetfulness means that my mind wants to go back to the same old stuff. That is why it is very important to recall, repeat, remember. When? Every day. Where? In every situation. Think of the changes that has taken place in your life. Now the next question. How many times you were upset? How many times you were upset, anxious, heavily busy since the last session? Just recognize. First is the recognize. The moment you recognize the times you were upset, times you were anxious and heavily busy, the mind pushed you into the same old habit and routine. You have forgotten the journey of the Eastern West. That's so simple. My master used to say, we have no right to die. Until I know, until I realize, who am I? I have no right to die. Why? If I die without knowing, my next birth will continue the same stuff, same habit, same anxiety, same stress, same blame, same complaint, same reaction. Here's the point. Every master, enlightened master, gives you a message in a different way. So when my master says you have no right to die unless you realize who I am, so what to do? That is the royal secret. And once the royal secret is revealed, it makes your entire life a celebration. That is the seventh point in the book you have to read. So when we understand the sweetness of a sugar never disappears where you put what form it is, whether it's crushed into a powder or granules or cubes, or it is put into the ice cream or dessert, anything. That means peace is everywhere, yes. Happiness is everywhere, yes. Why I experience alternating pain and pleasure, alternating reaction and response, alternating victory and defeat, alternating emotional bondage and freedom. It's a natural question because I don't know who am I. That's a simple answer. And now we are going to understand it deeply. That what prevents me to know and realize what I am. Can I give you a simple answer? Simple answer is that we mind focused on the object, situation, location, time, pleasure, pain, in contact with the world outside. But that is okay. We have to be in contact with people, situation, location, time, and objects. That is okay. But the mind projected peace and happiness in object, location, peace, time. Do you see the secret? We cannot live without the world outside. We cannot have a luxury not to come in contact. But we have a choice. Mind that gets attached, mind that starts projecting peace and happiness outside in the world of object, situation, location. We have a chance. We have a choice. Not only we have a chance, but we have a choice. That is why my master said we don't have a right to die before we realize I am the real self, I am the peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. Also, we take birth by crying and we die by crying. So that is why my master said we don't have a right to die. Right to die means what? I'm living, yes. Let us live consciously. Okay. Live consciously means what? Let us analyze and observe each and every situation, location, people, relations in my life. But why? To know if the peace and happiness are present in them, we get an answer no. Mind moves inside, it discovers. In between the birth and the death, we have moments of pleasure and pain. That is what we are undergoing all the time. What we call this is a life. But this is not life. Choice is we should declare and start working. No, I declare that I have no right to die, and we start working. Pick up another point in revealing that secret, all temporary pleasure and pain. Or can I use the word all alternating pain and the pleasure in life has nothing to do with permanent peace and happiness, nothing to do with the real self. Those alternating pain and the pleasure enters my life to educate, to point out where the permanent happiness and peace are located. It is located within me, it is not outside. That is the royal secret. Why it is royal? Because it is within me. We celebrate different events in our life. We celebrate different events in our life, birthdays, marriage, anniversaries, graduation, or buying something new. Why we are celebrating for pleasure and happiness? We experience pleasure before the event, during the event, and after that. How long? Maybe sometime for a couple of hours or few days. We enjoy that celebrating an event, and after that, mind forgets it. Mind returns to the same old habit, and that old habit is forgetting the royal secret. Forgetting the royal secret means I feel that is the way the life is known. The life is something different. So, what makes me realize the life is different? Question is simple. Does happiness come from the outside the world or from within? One. Second question is where I experience the happiness. Do I experience the happiness inside me or I experience the happiness in the mouse that I like? And then I say the mouse gives me the pleasure. For example, pick up any object instead of the mouse. When I say this mouse gives me happiness, but I experience the happiness inside. So mouse does not enter into my head, and still I claim the mouse gives me the happiness. The honey gives me happiness, or the brother gives me happiness, or sibling gives me the happiness. They remain outside. Situation gives me happiness. They remain outside. A car gives me the happiness. Happiness that I always experience inside that object or that person or that relation do not enter into my. No, but I feel it. That is what the ignorance is. And then I leave the royal secret. Done. Finished. So what should I? I should remain aware where I experience happiness. It is inside me. So can I keep that happiness inside me? Yes. No, but it does not continue. Why? Because this mouse is broken now. Do you see? The relationship is broken. It has nothing to do with happiness. Relationship is gone. Situation is not like the one that I had experienced the pleasure. You see how the mind is working in ignorance? How by these thoughts the mind hides the royal secret? Where is royal secret? I told you. I am peace. I'm not craving for peace. The journey of the self discovery or journey of the Eastern wisdom is to uncover what is covered by my habit, my instinct, my impulses, by emotional bondage, by attachment, by likes, by delusion. Cover, I should recognize and accept, and then start uncovering step by step. The moment we uncover completely, we are already. So one thing to understand that peace and happiness I always experience within me. Even if I claim this car gives me pleasure, this food gives me pleasure, that cup of tea gives me the pleasure, it is inside me. That coffee or that pasta which I like that gives me the pleasure, or the car, or no situation or no person enters into my head. They cannot enter into my head. They cannot be responsible for permanent peace and happiness. It is a short term pleasure. I come in contact. That contact gives me the pleasure, not an object, not a person, not a situation, not a relationship. Can I keep that thought in my mind and check it this week in every situation, in every location, in time, in space? We need to examine that celebration. Celebration means to acknowledge a happy event with a social gathering, uh, or with some kind of an achievement or some purchase. That is also we celebrate. When we celebrate an event, there are always many outside factors: people, place, time, occasion, location, duration. What do we celebrate? We celebrate an event for happiness, pleasure, huh? Pleasure, power, possessions. So we are celebrating a very small event in time frame, limitedness. So the mind always remains limited. We don't celebrate our life. Eastern wisdom is a celebration of life. That is another way to say it is a royal secret. We don't celebrate our life. That is what we are learning if we celebrate our life. So, when to celebrate your life? Life is available 24 by 7. So, if I discover how to celebrate the life, I'm celebrating my entire life becomes a celebration. I don't live a habitual, impulsive life which is limited, which is which which begins with the celebration, duration of the celebration, and after the celebration we forget it. We repeat it again and again. And we forget to find out the nature of permanent happiness. Eastern wisdom is a journey by which we make the entire life a celebration. Why we cannot make it? Why we forget it? Why the mind goes in another direction? Because the mind confuses the source of peace and happiness. The moment the mind says, "You are the source of my peace and happiness," Can even a couple remain together, stick together like a glue 24 by 7 to give each other a happiness? Answer is no. Even if one person continues to stick like a glue, the other will leave. But why to stick like a glue? Because my mind feels that you are the source of peace and happiness. So we have to understand clearly whether anything outside is the source of peace and happiness. Again, understand that royal secret: where you are, there is the source of happiness. Where I am not, there is no source of peace and happiness. For example, I am married, so I have a honey. So that I am separate from the honey. So honey is not the source of peace and happiness. I love this car, I bought that car. So car is different and separate from me. That is cannot be the source of happiness. Small secret. But unless the mind starts thinking like this, it will change. It will change you from today, here and now. I like pasta. Pasta is different from me. Pasta cannot be the source of peace and happiness. Go on. Go on thinking. I am the body. No, I'm not the body. So I'm different from the body. Body cannot be the source of peace and happiness. I experience certain sensations of pleasure and pain, means the body is an instrument where I experience, but still the peace and happiness lies something, sometime very deep inside the body. Are you getting it? If you don't get it, you have to repeat listening. Listen to it again. Source of happiness is not outside me. Means what I am not. I'm not the mouse. I'm not the car. I'm not the phone. I'm not the house. I'm not the clothes. Source of peace and happiness. But our mind is constantly bombarding, projecting peace and happiness there. Should I drop buying a car? No. Find out the utility of a car is to travel. You should have it. Clothes? Yes, you should have the best clothes that you put on your body to look presentable. Minus mind seeking happiness there should be deleted. Someone says you have a wonderful dress. Appreciate, recognize, thank you. But at the same time, you are aware inside. Why you are aware inside mind? You don't want the mind should go. Mind should enter into ignorance. It should have any sense of emotional bondage. The mind should not declare that source of happiness is outside. Then what is the source of peace? Peace and happiness are my essential nature. I discussed before. I am peace, I am happiness. So it means I am and happiness are synonyms. I and peace are synonyms. So what happens? When the I stand with reference to the car, then I become the car, but the car is not the source of happiness, so I'm frustrated. I stand before I become the mother, I become the father. So I stand as a father, I stand as a mother. That is not the source of happiness. I like a cup of tea or a coffee. I stand, I become coffee. Why I become coffee? That is emotional bondage. That is what I have been talking, but I discussed in a different way. But today I'm just strict to open the secret. To open the secret. No, no, but I get even short-term happiness in the coffee. Come on, you experience the happiness consciously. Coffee in the cup, they are matter. Anything that is material is inert. That anything that is inert cannot give us peace and happiness. Did you understand that? Let me make it in a simple way. When I say I experience happiness, it is always conscious. You're conscious. You cannot say that I was in a deep sleep and experiencing happiness. You cannot say that. Are you clear? Okay. So I am conscious, so then I can experience happiness. Is this conscious? Does the mouse say that no worries, you bought me, I will give you peace and happiness? Answer is no. And that is why peace and happiness are essential nature. Not only peace and happiness, love is within me. Mind starts running after the person to love. So the mind forgets the peace and happiness and love inside. In that forgetfulness, it projects love, peace, and happiness on the others. And the moment you project that peace and happiness on others, the mind starts wandering, it starts running, it starts seeking. But if that person or that object does not come up to my expectation, then I get frustrated. Instead of pleasure, I get pain. Do you see how easy is the royal secret? How simple it is. I told you, secret is it's a secret. Secret means not many people know. Only few people know it. But then it is a royal secret. And then what I said, it is an open secret. What is an open secret? I am peace and happiness. I don't declare it. So I live in peace. I live in pain, suffering, reaction, anger, hesitation, stress, etc. Mind in ignorance hides peace and happiness of the real self. But did you understand? That's how I explain a couple of examples. So what do you mean mind in ignorance? What do you mean by ignorance? I'm a literate guy. No, no, I'm not talking of literacy and illiteracy. Ignorance means misunderstanding, wrong interpretation, having a wrong notion. I will eat pasta, will become happy. I'll buy this mouse, I'll be happy. I'll buy that car, I'll be happy. Or I'll be in touch with, I will be in contact with a person whom I like will keep my happiness intact. This is misinterpretation, wrong notion. The mind has a wrong notion. That is what we call ignorance. Very small, very subtle steps in the mind. Do you still remember what I just talked before this? That I am conscious, that you cannot deny. So, happiness is a conscious experience. Whether I give happiness to you, I have to be conscious. So, if the mouse can give me happiness, it has to be conscious, but it is matter. So no object, no relation, no situation, no condition outside can give me happiness. I experience that happiness in contact, in relationship, because it is manifesting from inside me. It has nothing to do with any other person, any other situation. It has nothing to do with the mouse. But still, I go on saying that this mouse is a wonderful mouse. It gives me happiness. So happiness is not here. I express happiness inside me because of its utility. Permanent happiness, peace, and love, they always come from inside. That is why it is a royal secret, because it is already within me and I don't recognize it. That is available all the time. Master says, discover within you, not outside. Many people tell me, I have a couples, they also attend the session and they say, don't say that I love my honey. I said, very good. So show me. You love honey here or you love honey here? No, I like her eyes, but okay, so you like, and that is why it gives you happiness? Yes. So if you dislike one day, then will it give you happiness? No. No, no, you tell me when you say that my honey gives me happiness. So does the body of your honey contains happiness? No. What the body is made up of? Cells. What the cells are made up of? Matter. Does every cell of your honey speaks to you that I love you? No. How crazy you are. Yes, I said, I know I'm crazy. So when we start examining, understanding, analyzing, we realize it's a wrong notion based on expectations and attachment and in emotional dependence. Because of that, I declare royal secret, open secret, and we don't see, we don't analyze. So when we don't see, we don't analyze, we don't examine, the mind projects happiness and peace in others and love in others. I told you, Bill Gates said, I lived loveless life for 27 years. That is your responsibility. You're looking at me? Yes. You're listening to me? Yes. Say yes. Obviously, you're doing it. So the mind is moving out. Say yes. You're not only seeing me, but you are also seeing what is behind me. You're not only seeing me, you're also seeing my shirt, my beard, my different parts of the body. Is it not true? Yes. That is the way the mind moves out. And as the mind goes far away from the real self, first it moves outside and then it picks up multiple objects, people, things, and relations. And then it creates a likes and dislikes. It creates a story about the likes and dislikes. And that makes the mind forget what it forget. It forgets the real self. So then what happens? It forgets the real self. Then it picks up the objects based on the likes and dislikes. And then we declare that it gives me pleasure and happiness. Why don't you understand? So our master says, why don't you understand that if you say you love honey, it means you love the body? Do you see who is honey? No, I don't see. I see only the body. Body is made up of cells. Cell is a matter. Matter is inert. But it doesn't mean that you don't say, I love you. If you don't say, then you have misunderstood it. That's a social, that's an applied level. It's a matter of living in the material world, but deeper inside, you know. That is one aspect. And second aspect is that once you discover love, you have only one thing to offer: love. When you discover peace, you have only one thing to offer. No, but what is the difference between the two? The difference is that you are now offering peace, love, truth, and wisdom wherever you live, at all the time, in all the situations, with everyone. So what was the previous situation? You were expecting the love, peace, and happiness from the others. You projected peace and happiness because of your expectation, because of your emotional dependence. That is the only difference. Expression is the same. Royal secret. Mind approaching the real self. You move the mind within, you live within, you listen and learning, you contemplate and reflect, you are absorbed into a meditation, and ultimately you discover the real self. So the mind approaching near, the ways by which the mind approaches near to yourself will help you discover yourself. The mind that is running after, moving out with the multiple objects, situation, relations, time, space, will put you in ignorance. Ignorance causes the suffering. I have already explained it. So our master says that the journey to make the entire life a celebration demands, what it demands? It demands the right knowledge followed by the practice to learn from your experience, and you discover. I've already explained the 8 or 9 steps. That process is known as sadhana. What is the goal of this sadhana? To bring an end to the suffering and to awaken to the real self. What are the factors necessary? I have to be a seeker. I'm a person. I have to become a qualified seeker. No, I did not understand. I'm seeking. You are seeking to drive a car. Don't you need, do you need anything or you don't need anything? I need the skill sets of driving. I should know the rules of the road. And if I'm competent in both, I get a driving license so I can drive. That is the meaning of being a qualified seeker. That is what we are doing in our life by learning the Eastern wisdom. We know the rules of the road by small and easy principles. We should have a skill set that we are learning by the practice. You match the two, you are a qualified seeker, and it becomes very easy. So that is the first thing. And what is the second thing? So first is that from a person, I become a qualified seeker. What the qualified seeker says, I am not worthy of suffering. Whenever I experience this suffering, I should be aware, analyze, observe, and examine. By examination, I should come to a point that I'm not worthy of suffering. But still, the impressions remain impure. So let me do the practice. So, this royal secret, open secret, as the master says, the master makes it very simple. All the elements of what I have discussed until now will merge into one thing. What is the goal of your life? Goal of my life is peace and happiness, love and wisdom. No, but goal of life is to earn money, to have a house, and that is not the goal of life. That is the means. Wealth is the main, car is the main, house is the main. Why you want to drive a car? To be happy. The car is the means. Why I want a mouse? To work on the computer. Why I want a house? To live in that house. But why you want to live in a house? To be happy. So that happiness is the goal. We all are searching peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. Tell me anyone who doesn't want to, whose goal is not peace and happiness. Means may be different. There are trillions of means. One wants to earn money by one profession, second profession, third profession. One wants to remain single to be happy, other wants to divorce to be happy. Third wants to get married and to be happy. These are the means. It means marriage is a means, divorce is another mean, being single is a means. Goal of life is only one. For every human race. Leave aside for every human race, for every living species. You have a lot of pets. Touch the pet. If they feel there is a danger, they will react to it. If they feel you are approaching with the love and care, they will recognize it. Why they recognize? Peace and happiness. Unconscious, impulsive recognition. So, what is where all these things are happening? That is why we are learning Eastern wisdom. The mind should implant these rules of the road, rules of the journey of the Eastern wisdom, continue the practice to discover. Once you discover, you know, you realize. I've already defined realization. Once you realize, drop all the rules. You will remain in that state. My master used to say, what is the problem? Master says, mind. My master used to joke around and he used to say, if you eat your mind, you are using the mind as an instrument. But if the mind eats you, then the mind lives your life, and the mind always lives life with the pain, pleasure, duality, conflict, confusion, likes, dislikes, expectations, emotional dependence. But will it help? Listening and yes, listening and learning will give you a new perspective to the mind. Now the mind has a choice. Before that, mind does not have a choice. Why it has a choice? Because it is understanding, it is learning, it is experiencing that peace and happiness can be. experienced without any object in the world outside. What is that state? Meditation. Don't you recognize that I'm more peace and calm? Don't you experience there is the clarity of the mind in meditation? When the mind lives a life, it is governed by the likes and dislikes, my friend. Sorrow and happiness, victory and defeat, profit and loss. When the mind lives a life, it is the life of a desire, craving, passion, obsession. Why these words? It is seeking happiness outside. It is seeking happiness here. As if the mouse contains that happiness, as if the car, as if the home, as if the work, dress. Should we leave everything? No, nothing to leave. It's a journey inside. That is why it is a royal secret. So, how do you say it is a journey inside? It is the life of ignorance. It is the life of ignorance, impurity, guided by likes and dislikes, conflict, delusion, etc. Means the mind is working on me. The entire Eastern wisdom says when this mind is purified completely, the mind reflects that real self and we are there. Every living species inherently, unconsciously, habitually wants to live in peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. They don't know it. We know it because we have an intellect. We can learn, we can understand, we can do the practice, we can change the mind. No animal species can change their mind. That is why we say it is impulsive. That is why we say it is an animal. Animal mind cannot change itself. We can change. Why? We have an intellect, we have a free intellect. We can check what is repetitive, what is habitual, what is unconscious, what is obsessive, what is compulsive. No other. Even you love your dog or a pet so much, their impulsive nature, you can get the things done by giving them a bite of food. If you say, okay, take this bite of feed and give a talk. You see, we are not impulsive. We can change. Why? We have a free intellect. The two things, the intellect and mind. Intellect can lead the mind to a knowledge. The intellect can put the knowledge and understanding and a clarity in the mind so that this mind stop being habitual, craving, obsessive, reactive, confused. We found the real secret. I told you the mind is working on us or we are working on the mind. You work on the mind. While working on the mind, you think, speak, and act, or the mind working on you. In that mode, you think, speak, and act. When the mind is working on us and we think, speak, and act, emotional dependence, expectations, I am bound to suffer. Master says, we are not worthy of suffering when we start working on the mind and start thinking, speaking, and acting, living our daily life, whether it's a personal level, professional level, social level, the life becomes most beautiful. If the mind is working on us The mind is working on us, and if you examine how many times you were upset, anxious in the last week, until the last session, you will recognize the mind is working on me. Every time the mind became anxious, hesitated, duality, conflict, confusion, overexertion or overtiredness. Mind is working on you. It is impulsive and habitual, then we have been doing the same thing again and again and again and again. Years and years and years and expecting a different result. When the mind is keeping the projection alive, how we can expect a different result in our life? It is the knowledge that changes. The knowledge by listening the principles of the Eastern wisdom. It is not that only practice will help, but listening and learning the principles. See, I give you an example of to become a driver, I have to know the rules of the road. You don't practice the rules of the road, but you read the text. Is the right lane driving, left lane driving? Then there are different lanes. Highway is here. What is the speed? You learn it, and then you apply the skill sets of the driving. They merge together. That is what we are doing. Royal secret, secret, royal secret. And I said, Master says it is. It is an open secret. It is an open secret. So is your mind says that everything moves to the mind? In one way, yes. In other way, no. So when we say in one way it is yes, so we should understand this mind clearly. What is mind? What are the four functions of the mind? How the mind causes the likes and dislikes? Why the mind causes likes and dislikes? And how to bring about a change in the mind? What factors are responsible to bring about a change in the mind to help this mind or to move this mind to open that royal secret to realize the real self? Why the mind behaves like the way it behaves? Why the God did not give me the best mind? Then simple answer. Then God will live the life. Why you worry? Why you say I am unhappy? So the royal secret is one is secret known by the few, and then it says royal secret. It is the highest secret, and then the master says it is still an open secret. Krishna, one of the originator, the founder of the Eastern wisdom, says this. And then it says, then it is an open secret. What kind of a secret which is open? It is available to everyone in the world. Everyone has a right to be in peace and happiness. Why it is royal? Because people do not want to touch it. Why they do not want to touch it? They are happy with alternating pleasure, pain, victory, defeat. They want to repeat the same pleasure again and again with a hope that I will be happy forever. So once we get rid of these, Once we get rid of these wrong notions, we will find, we will discover who am I? I am peace and happiness. Thank you. Thank you.